What is up, guys? Are we live? I guess, yes, we're live. Turn this off. Don't want feedback. Last thing I want is feedback. What is up, guys? I am live. Good that Sabanatsu caught it, because if you didn't say anything, then I would assume that I wasn't. Oh, man. My chat, like usual, is messed up. I can never catch a break with OBS and my chat. What's up, Brian? Sabanatsu Frost Advisory tonight. Weather won't make it up as mine. Well, hopefully I can bring you warmth. That's creepy. But it's still funny, so it's fine. Randon is certain magical index good? I don't know. Index and the other one, certain scientific railgun, I keep trying, but I never, like, finish it for some reason. Not that it's bad, I get sidetracked really easily with older shows, so that one I just never finish for some reason. Ryan, hope you have a good month, and I hope you have a very good, and you better have a new dog, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and hope you have a good stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love the best wishes. Even though you said you better. That sounded like a threat. Are you threatening me? Are you threatening me? But I appreciate it. Never finished Index Railgun, though. Can you watch Railgun without Index? I think they're both supposed to be separate, right? They're the same universe, but separate characters, I believe. Again, I'm not an expert, so. Adrian, what's going on? Cheto, what's going on? Nagisa, hey. QB. Jose. Is it Jose or is it Jose? I don't know. I apologize. I think it's Jose. Or is it Jose? It's probably Jose. Now that Adrian's here, that means I can do my Mushoku Tensei tier list. I'm just joking. It's such a struggle. I just need to make a Mushoku Tensei, like, live stream. A Mushoku Monday live stream where it's nothing but the live stream chat. Maybe, like, one of the Mondays. If I ever fall behind, I could just do a live stream instead of doing the premiere. That would probably be really, really cool. Of course, I kind of agree with Earthly that I probably should just, like, wait until I'm halfway through the novel series and just do, like, a big live stream. But, I really badly want to do a tier list. I think that would be a lot of fun. Some of it happen in both, but they aren't reliant on each other. So there's, like, some similarities. You have, like, references to certain events and stuff like that. You see the news today? Game collab with 7 Deadly Sins. Which game? Didn't the mobile game shut down? Or are you talking about 7 Deadly Sins game is going to have Mushoku Tensei characters in it? But no, I didn't see anything on that. Railgun and Index characters are intertwined sometimes. That's kind of what I was kind of figuring, but I didn't think that they would rely on each other that much. Andrew might play another gacha game. Well, I mean, this art right here was the Mushoku Tensei mobile game. They had a lot of really great art in that series. My starting screen is from the game, but again, it technically shut down. So unless they start another game, I know they're making like a Switch game, but I don't think that's not a gacha game. That's a console game. So I don't know how that would play into each other. Again, unless it's 7 Deadly Sins game. I would love yeah, it would be very difficult not to jump into another mobile game if it just had those characters in it. That's technically why, that was the original reason why I started playing Princess Connect, is because they had a collab with ReZero, and I wanted to get Rem. And technically, I started playing Alchemist Code for the Fate Stay Night collab there, I think. But Alchemist Code, as much as I hate that game now, because it got way too complicated and it's super whale heavy. Like, you have to whale in order to keep up. Like, just to keep up with the progress of the game, you have to whale. Like, it's not, like, free-to-play friendly at all. That game had so many collabs. It had Fate, it had Disgaea, it had, shoot, what other ones? There's a whole bunch of them. Attack on Titan. Final Fantasy 15. I'm probably missing a bunch. It just tons of collabs. I don't know who at Gumi has dirt on who, but they're just all over the place. So, yeah. It is Seven Deadly Sins? Okay. Isn't the Seven Deadly Sins like one of those games, like the ice hockey-ish type or air hockey type of game? Seven Deadly Sins, Grand Cross. That's right, Grand Cross. That's what it was called. I remember that. I quit it, and then the Mushoku Tensei, it pulled me back in. That was a terrible voice. And then they pull me back in. Is that better? They pull me back in. What month and what day is a new anime talking about Cameroonians? Hi? I think spelling correct butchered your thing. The only mobile game I still play is Eminence and Shadow. That time I got reincarnated as slime and Tower of Fantasy. Don't put any money in that Eminence and Shadow game. Don't put any money in that Eminence and Shadow game. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't put any money in that game. And just expect that whatever progress you put into it's gonna go away. I don't see Eminence and Shadow's mobile game lasting very long. I mean, it could be super... What's this? Has anybody seen sales charts on Eminence and Shadows? I'm very curious how much that's making. I mean, it had hype when the anime was out, but I don't think it had that much hype. I mean, I don't even think it had many users on Mal. Let me see. Eminence and Shadow. I would guess probably 400,000 users on Mal. Oh, 442. See, that's not even up to that. That's a quarter of like Attack on Titan hype. But of course, Attack on Titan is the peak, so. Absolutely is the peak. Hey, Sony, what's going on? So, how many we got here? I'm very curious about this. Anybody see this? I said this was coming. I said this was coming. Just writing new issue, enjoying new phone, about to order pizza. Yeah, I was meaning to check out the link you sent me. This is pretty much the future of anime. This is literally the future of anime right here. It's still super wonky though. Like if you look at her, if you watch her left hand, it goes crazy. But yeah, she looks like, that looks super good. Like she looks super good. This is the future of waifus right here. But yeah, just essentially using the same technology, giving a framework to work with the art style, record a dance routine, let the AI do the work, clean up here and there. But like I said, you can still see it. Like if you watch her hands, it goes crazy. But I'm surprised by some of the hands. But they could have done touch-ups. The editing could have done some touch-ups on some of it. Like when she brings her hand down to her thighs, I'd imagine there's a lot of touch-ups happening there because there's a lot of emphasis there with that shot. Yeah, they obviously polished it up, but they didn't probably polish it up much because I mean the whole background's glitchy as hell. Yeah, use the Chica dance and just go crazy with it. It's crazy though. It is honestly, like I said, this is the future of animation, which is super sad. But all they really have to do, like I've said before, is all they have to do is set up a framework to work off of so they don't break copyrights. Set up an art style, have an artist draw tons of art references based on position, direction they're facing. Throw it into an algorithm with the AI, put in a live action recording on top of it that's super clean. And there you have a scene. I was looking for that shot earlier that I noticed. Like her hand gets yeah, there it is right there. Look at that. Look at that hand. Oh girl. No, it looks like yeah, it looks like her knuckles are right here. And then there's just another hand back here. Like she's holding her hand is holding a hand. So it happens. The algorithm the AI gets a little confused sometimes, but I mean, we dealt that with the AI when we're just trying to make artwork and stuff. It's just like suddenly out of nowhere, the AI just makes hands appear where they shouldn't appear. Hair appears where they shouldn't appear. It kind of just guesses. That's normal. Which you would make you wonder, why don't they just set an algorithm that knows that, like, okay, there can only be 2 hands. Just tell the AI, normally we only have 2 hands, so only do 2 hands. You have a knuckle here. This is obviously a hand. Here's a hand. You don't need to make a 3rd hand. Yeah, it's still not there, obviously. But I mean, just this is like what? Probably. That's probably at most 3 at 20, roughly 80 frames right there. They can easily fix. Rather than having 80 frames versus all of this that was created from it is not much work comparatively. Somebody's always got to be there. Somebody's always got to be present for it. But what it's producing, and this is early. This is super early. As soon as they perfect the algorithm, as soon as they perfect how it plays out stuff, it's as simple as put in some live action and it's good. Yo, dog, I heard you like hands, so I put some hands on your hands, so you had hands while you hands. Hands while you throwing hands or something. Hey, free support, what's going on? There can only be 1 per arm. It's surprising that's not a thing yet. It's surprising that that's not a thing yet. I think they'll move to 24 frames per second with AI, or stick with 12 and more traditional look. They'll stick with what they're at, because even right now with CGI, they're not up in the frames. Like with Sidonia and stuff like that, they could easily do 60 frames, but they don't, because they feel like they have to keep it low, which is it makes no sense. But yeah, that looks super good. That's a great character design. I kind of want to know what the character design is. I love that design. Off topic, imagine if Zelda anime, because of the success of Mario. I'd imagine they're probably going to keep going. But I think mostly the Mario movie was just to kind of push the theme park, right? I think. So it was like in collaboration with the theme park. But yeah, this is honestly sad, scary, and cool at the same time. Like, oh yeah, even the even the way, look at her belly. That girl's belly button's all over the place. Girl, I think she got upset tummy. Look at that belly button. It needs work. I don't know. Maybe there's some girls that have some belly buttons that get a little wild. It's a possibility. Oh man, it looks super good though. It looks scaringly good. I mean, I wouldn't. There's been worse technologies used in anime. Let's be perfectly honest. I would be so bold to say I would prefer this type of stuff, this basically AI rotoscoping, over CGI. In a lot of cases, I think there's a lot of CGI that looks really incredible, but there's a lot of CGI that looks like butt too. And if something like this can kind of give them an alternative, it's fine. It's just I'm not, until it gets perfect. I mean, we're talking about the same argument that we said with CGI. It's literally the same exact argument. When CGI anime came out, the biggest concern was this is putting 2D animators out of work and putting in its place CGI computer nerds that are moving joints around. It's the same argument. And surprisingly, CGI anime did not take over the industry. It still has yet to take over the industry. And we thought that it was only inevitable. Me and Chris, I can admit when I'm wrong. Me and Chris have been talking about the inevitability of CGI anime being every show for years. And it never did. And I think that's mainly because the industry itself pushes back, ? And yes, technically CGI anime, to make a good CGI anime, costs more than 2D animation. CGI anime is not cheaper. it makes sense once you have the assets put together that you can continue the process. And typically with CGI anime, they're in some cases going a little bit above and beyond with everything. I mean, X-Arm should be if the production values of current 2D animation was the same in CGI as it was in 2D animation, everything would be X-Arm. That is cheap. That is low budget. Instead, most of the time we get things like Nighthead. We get Land of Lustrous. We get Trigun, where they're trying to impress people that this is the future. It looks good, right? If they said, here's the future, here's X-Arm, it looks good, right? Hire us. It's not going to be successful. So I think despite the fact that CGI did seem like it was the future for anime, it was cutting out the budget and everything, it was more expensive in retrospect, and thus never adopted. This can be cheap, because again, you're having AI do it. So this is actually more apt to be the future over CGI. I'm missing chats. Low is what you're used to. You look like you were hit by a truck is now a compliment, since most isekai characters are hot afterwards. That's true. If you ever want to impress somebody, just say you look like you were hit by a truck, or you got beat up by a bunch of guys and walked through a door in your bathroom. That's technically a more apt discussion there. I can see what you mean. As long as artists don't lose their jobs. Yeah, and I think Sony. I mean, that was for that rock paper scissors one. They technically, I seen a video where that it was like a past Disney animator. I think he worked on like Lion King and stuff like that. He was talking about. He kind of said the same thing I was thinking. Is that aspect of, do I think this is going to take away jobs? Yes, technically. I'm more in the mindset that it doesn't necessarily take away jobs, but replaces jobs. That's like I was talking about with the whole thing with using AI deepfake technologies they have right now to essentially take a role from a Japanese person, a seiyuu. Take a seiyuu, put their voice into a databank, and then use AI to English dub or whatever other language the anime into another language. All they need is a translation. Tell the computer to do this. It's a little more difficult because you're then having to tell it inflections and emotions and when it's going to go up or down. You can't tell an AI to perform. You can tell an AI to create, but to tell it to perform is a different story. Could you imagine trying to tell an AI to act out the scene from Supernatural Battles Came Commonplace? That scene where the friend outbursts in the kitchen. I can't see an AI just being told, be emotional here. Be unhinged. Be so emotionally overdriven, you are losing it, but you love who you're yelling at. You can't. Like, the AI is not going to know what to do. Now, there's a possibility that you can sort of tell the AI to look at the original work and process how they sound and try to mimic it with the translation. I guess that could technically work, because it's got the pitches and everything in there. It might be able to figure it out, but the performance is the difficult thing. But again, like I was saying back there, it's not necessarily you're firing a bunch of people. It's that you're creating new jobs in AI. People that are basically handling the AI, programming it, telling it to learn, adjusting it, checking its work, doing a lot of after stuff. And technically, there's going to still be a lot of After Effects. And like here, the background, there's still need a background. That background's terrible. You still gotta create a lot of backgrounds. You still gotta create the base art that it's going to be working off of. And again, you still have to check it because where's it at? Now I can't find it again. Where's our hand go nuts? Because I want to find it, I can't find it. It was at the beginning, wasn't it? There. You still have to have somebody check it. Because her belly button's going to fly down her pants, and her hand's going to create another hand. So, I don't know. It's always... and that's the world. Like, that's manufacturing and everything. Every job, once it's lost, creates new jobs. For every person that was on the assembly line that's replaced with an arm, is replaced by an engineer. and the people that create the mechanical arm, those that maintenance it, those that create the fuel for it, the electricity for it, and everything. Yeah, I seen that Corridor's working on a second part. I'm curious if that did very well for them for their memberships on their channel, because they had their how-to stuff on their site. The animation looks really promising. Don't care if it's personally don't care if the animation is 2D or CGI, as long as the stories are entertaining. True. True. As long as you give somebody a good story. That's like video games. Don't care how the video game looks, as long as it's fun. Same with entertainment in general. It's as long as it's fun, as long as it's a good story, you're gonna watch it. That's why I have Night Sidonia's Blu-ray. I watched it to death. I watched pretty much everything. Nihei and Polygon Pictures. I watched Nighthead. It's actually a really good story. See, this only happens because people want to work faster and stuff. I'll hand draw animation is barely here. So you're right. They'll just use CGI. It's just like CGI. And that's pretty much where I think several companies, like including Netflix with Wit Studio, they were talking about not necessarily trying to replace people, but more make it more easier for anybody to really produce something. That's like that mangaka that made a whole manga using AI generated stuff. I don't know how he's not sued to death, but who's gonna sue him? It really begs the question of, is there passion there? Like, I looked at that manga that was fully done with AI. I didn't look at the whole thing, but what I did flip through of it, there was no life in it. That's the problem. There was no life in it. And until somebody knows how to manipulate it, or they can get the AI to put life into something, it's going to look generic. It's going to look lifeless. It's going to have no... Like, with that manga, there was just straight faces and stuff. It just didn't look like there was much design in it at all. It was like just an excuse to put text on the screen and sell it. You see the new episode of Kaminaki? No. That's the future of anime right there. I need to watch it, though. I've been recording a podcast all day. Me and Chris record our first impressions. Andrew, what's up? What are we talking about? This AI generated animation and stuff, and comparing it to CGI and stuff. And I definitely can't recreate the scene with Takina screaming, "The heart is getting away." Ninja Slayer is the future of anime. It's the extreme past, but it could be the future again, I guess. You glad Onimai is successful? Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet. That's basically because Mario movie. Sidonia, that was good in its own way. I still remember the Peace Girl. The Hive Girl was great. I'm all for the Hive Girl. She was great. There goes the belly again. I gotta stop letting this play. It's distracting me. The belly button just goes crazy. But no, I still don't like Sidonia just because of the ending of the manga. I still am angry at the ending of the manga. I read the whole manga, and the ending annoys me. The last page annoys me. I'm surprised they never finished that. I know they did like an original movie or something like that. I never watched it, but I completely figured they were to go full adaptation on that. I saw Kickstarter for art books a few months ago, and they used AI generated all the art. I'm like, why would I buy that? That's good money though. Like, just, I'm surprised. There's probably plenty of people doing that. I know there's people actually doing, there's actually, I see that there's OnlyFans for, AI generated art. Like, people literally recreating themselves with, AI and selling their fake bodies on OnlyFans, which is, I mean, people shouldn't be using that site anyways because you can find it elsewhere, but at the same time, it's like, I wonder if that's making certain people question, or are they just going with it? Like, well, it looks good anyways. I don't care. I don't care if it's AI created. I'm just going to look at it anyways. Mario movie was really fun film compared to the other Disney films since 2019. I'd imagine. Probably just got a lot more passion in it. Enjoyed the episode review of Onimai. Now I'm enjoying your review of Oshinoko. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'm glad that you enjoy it. I'm really enjoying Oshinoko. But now, the Onimai thing, I guess I should talk about the Onimai thing. I should get this off the screen so I don't keep, like, getting distracted by it. This isn't, like, against anybody in the Discord, but at some point, apparently, while I was sleeping, Discord got a little bit off on, somebody posted that Onimai only sold, like, 5,300, was it 5,300 copies in its first week? And I missed the conversation. It disappeared by the time I woke up and everything, but I still caught, like, the tail end of it. And I think there's, like, a misconception that a lot of people have with sales of Blu-rays, because I think that's typically what people kind of see and go, look, this shows I'm right, kind of thing. I know there's a lot of people that use sales charts as an example for whether or not something is good or something isn't as good as people believed it. It happened with Chainsaw Man. What did everybody hear? The moment the Blu-rays came out for Chainsaw Man, what did we all hear? It failed. It was unsuccessful. It sold like crap. 1,700, I think it was. And nobody was taking into account the fact that they had pretty much a exclusive deal with the MAPPA website. You went to the MAPPA website and you got exclusives. So it probably took most of their sales over there. Maybe it was only like 3,000 more sales on their website. Maybe there's a reason why they never published what they sold on the site. But it doesn't take into account that. I think people just see the number and immediately justify or not justify what they're doing. And my first argument the reason why I don't personally look at a lot of those charts on a regular basis is, one, it doesn't mean anything. Sales charts or sales for Blu-rays don't mean squat. I mean, yes, if they sell 50,000 plus copies in a week and it's got like, it's technically like 5 times more expensive than typical Blu-rays, that's huge. They made some bank. They probably bundled in a cheapo Gunpla or something, or a figure, and they made bank. But in an overall grand scheme of things, Blu-rays doesn't make the industry much. They're not as big as they used to be. It used to be, you look at those charts and you knew a studio was going to go downhill or uphill based on the sales, because it was a significant portion of their revenue. But now with overseas distribution, it's like 5% of the pie at most. If even that. In some cases, it's less than that the industry is actually making. Like overall, overseas distribution, pachinko machines, TV broadcast, all that stuff is where the money is made in anime. So whether or not you could sell 50 copies of a Blu-ray and still be successful. If Chainsaw Man only sold 1,700 copies ever of Chainsaw Man Blu-ray, they still made bank. Because Crunchyroll spent a fortune on that. And they made way more from just streaming it on Crunchyroll than they would ever make selling Blu-rays. No matter if they sold... Shoot, they would probably have to sell... How do I calculate that? I would probably guess easily 200,000 plus... No, I can probably calculate this, but I figured it out. I figured out how to calculate it. Hold on. Pause. Pause the stream. Don't actually pause the stream. I would guess that times that. Probably that. Yeah, they would have to sell at least 100,000 copies of Blu-ray in order to match what they're probably making from just streaming on Crunchyroll. Just streaming on Crunchyroll. That's huge. Part of the OnlyFans that you're giving money to a person. Yeah, you're giving it to a person, but is that really a person? And second, they don't care. Some cases. I know that it's all about like establishing a connection, but that's like super toxic and bad, in my opinion. I think it's really dangerous. And man, 3 got bad reviews, but it was a fun movie, and that's all that matters. As long as you enjoy it. Shadow House and Kanojo Mo Kanojo sold poorly in DVDs and season 2 exists for both. Right. Good example of they don't care. Good example of they don't care. Shows like being important depend on anime. For example, ecchi anime like DxD is more dependent on Blu-ray sales, but for Gundam show, Blu-ray sales is an afterthought because priority's Gunpla. Even for, and there you go. Even for ecchi shows, it's not. Because look at the charts, they don't sell. Like, look at the sales. When's the last time you've seen a really high-selling ecchi show? Gundam sells 50,000 plus in a week. They are just, there is anomalies in the system, obviously. Like you're saying with Gundam. Gundam actually sells really well Blu-ray-wise. And they sell Gunpla. And they sell merch. And they sell stickers. And they sell theater tickets. Gundam as a whole is a massive merchandise printing machine. But when it comes to things like, say, a random slice of life. Again, in the current sphere of anime, they're making more overseas distribution than Blu-rays. Ecchi shows making more overseas sales than Blu-rays. And even right now, you'll notice that a lot of companies they have the censored version on air. The whole Blu-ray only uncensored version has been gone for a while now. I don't know why I'm doing this game. Ayakashi Triangle is actually an anomaly. Before Ayakashi Triangle, when's the last time you've seen a censored version on Japanese television and an uncensored version Blu-ray? It doesn't do it anymore. It's gotten to the point where they don't sell Blu-rays really well anymore, and that sales in Blu-rays is so bad that your ecchi titles are now distributing the uncensored version during broadcast. It's going to ATX. It's going to streaming services in Japan. It's going to, sadly, not the West, but it's not. Yeah, Vinland Saga is another case, but Vinland Saga again was that sold on exclusivity with their website? Really liking Galaxy Next Door. Galaxy Next Door is weird. Galaxy Next Door is weird. Just don't touch the stinger. Yeah, I don't think overall it used to be a thing too. Like 10, 15 years ago, it was all about uncensorship in Blu-ray making sales. It's just not anymore. Yeah, Hell in 11th Another World the uncensored version was broadcasts. The Blu-ray gave you a figure. And that's where I think the only oddity in distribution is right now, is when they add benefits or exclusivities. Suddenly that changes everything because people want the extras. Not necessarily the show. It's not a sign the show's good. They want the extras. And I would argue, and this is to the point of this whole discussion, somebody brought up Bocchi versus Onimai. Saying that Onimai wasn't successful because it only sold 5,000, whereas Bocchi sold like crazy. What's the difference? They were both hugely successful in Japan. Onimai was number one in a lot of sites during winter. Bocchi was obviously number one in a lot of sites during fall. What's the difference? The fandom, obviously. It's a completely different fandom. People love club guitar music type of shows. But what was the main key difference? Unless somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm totally welcome to be wrong here. Bocchi sold exclusivities to different stores. Onimai didn't. You bought one copy of Onimai, you got it. Whereas Bocchi, you had to go to Amazon, you had to go to Aniplex site, you had to go to they were probably doing different exclusivities, different stores. That's how you get those big sales. You have over here, buy at this store, this chain, you get a keychain. If you buy a copy over here, you get a wall scroll. If you buy it over here, and that's just terrible practice. That is terrible business practice. That is literally exploiting your fans. And I'm curious how much of it a thing I'm curious how much of it is a thing in Japan where people buy those at different stores and then return them later on. So the sales go high, but they didn't end up returning them later on. I'd be curious. Because I've done that. I admit, back in the past, I bought something exclusive from GameStop. I bought it on Amazon, and I bought it at the GameStop. I got the exclusivity from GameStop, and then I returned that to Amazon. I'm bad, I know. It worked. I got the exclusivity. It was great. They censored SAO Progressive movie on Crunchyroll, but it's uncensored on Blu-ray and in theaters. Woof. Is the Progressive movie on Crunchyroll right now, or is it just in theaters? Only actually show that I believe would have great Blu-ray DVDs as sales as interspecies reviewers. I'd be curious. I think it did well in Japan. I think. For uncensored ecchi, fan subs are goats and sites for most of them. I hate that this chat thing's cut off. For most of them now. That's kind of the thing that I end up doing. If it's like super ecchi and there's a censored version, I'm gonna find it elsewhere. Bocchi is kind of overrated, not gonna lie. Not really. It's just it's more popular than you want it to be. it's just more popular than I want it to be. Just say that. I don't think it's that great. That's the better way of saying it. Overrated typically means that it's something that's too popular. You don't like how popular it is, which is fine, but I don't like that term, in my opinion. Just me. Putting something in definitely helps. Classroom of the... I knew what it was. Kote, Season 2. Had a light novel side story an author wrote in Volume 1, 15K in first week. Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Like, just having an episode. Because we were constantly wondering if Onimai was going to have the onsen episode in the Blu-ray, but I checked them like really early on, and the listings didn't have any sort of OVA in the release. So I think there's kind of a negative effect of selling a Blu-ray without at least one OVA, just to spice it up, just to give them something besides what they got on television. I like Bocchi all the same, but the concert at the episode 8 was peak. Still love all the Asian Kung Fu Generation references through their show. And No Game No Life references, too. Don't forget that. Bocchi is much more appealing to the casual audience. It's good anime for slice of life. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, obviously, Onimai is special in ways. And not really globally accepted. Even in Japan, is not really openly accepted in a lot of cases. I really did love seeing, like, in that tweet that Anime Facts, I think, did, posting the sales of it. Seeing somebody on there criticizing, saying that it's 5,000 people that need to check their hard drives. And literally his avatar is Denji, or whatever his name is, from Chainsaw Man. And I'm like, okay, so Onimai is problematic. But Chainsaw Man, which literally features an adult woman literally grooming a guy, is perfectly fine. That show is perfectly fine. You saw that guy. Just get a kick out of it. Cafe Terrence, the Goddess is censored on Crunchyroll. Don't know if it's censored anywhere else. But I honestly don't think that's censored or versus uncensored. I don't think there is an uncensored version is what I mean. Because a lot of those shots are shots that normally on television isn't allowed. A full frontal shot in Japan isn't even allowed. That you're showing anything lower end is a big no-no. So when you see those rays as in like two different locations, it's censored in the TV version in Japan too. Because I don't even remember seeing an uncensored version when I was looking it up on sites. Okay, sorry. It's okay, Tom. I'm just saying it's a better way of wording it. The word overrated is overrated. But no, it's not directed at you, Tom. It's just in general. That term is typically. I think it just means too much. Is all. I think it just means a little bit too much. Like Snafu video games with the OVA with it. Yeah, and boosting the video game sales. Right. Snafu's getting an OVA. Does it mean it might get another season or something? No, the light novel's fully adapted. They were talking about doing the side stories, which I won't say what they are about because it technically spoils. I think they said they were going to do some side stories. Kind of like ReZero has one of those kind of what-if chapters. I think they're doing something like that for Snafu. Like a what-if chapter. Double standards. Bochi sold more than Chainsaw Man, right? Yes. We don't know what Chainsaw Man sold. That's the whole point of my whole argument, is we don't know what Chainsaw Man sold. So, to give people an idea of what the charts are. So in Japan, there is groups that will actually communicate to all the stores and ask them what their sales are. So they'll call up Walmart and say, Walmart, how many of Chainsaw Man do you sell? Okay, thank you. Hey, Walmart in this location, what did you sell on Chainsaw Man? Okay, thank you. Hey, Rite Aid, what did you what did you sell for Chainsaw Man? All right, thank you. Hey, GameStop, yeah, how many Chainsaw Man? All right, cool. Hey, McDonald's, how many Chainsaw Man Happy Meals do you sell? They write down, they're basically aggregating sales numbers from all of the chains. And they group them all together and they put it on a chart and they publish it. That's their whole job, is just to ask and publish. Now, with Chainsaw Man specifically, did they call up Mappa and say, hey Mappa, we noticed that you have Chainsaw Man exclusive on your website with extra merch. What's your sales figures? What did Mappa say? Take a hike. Thus, we don't know how much Chainsaw Man sold because so much of it probably sold on their site. There was actually traffic numbers that I've seen on somebody's video that Mappa's traffic on their site shot through the roof when the sales started for that. How much of that actually bought? Who knows? But because Mappa had an exclusive deal to sell on their site, people obviously went to them to buy it. And thus, the 1,700 sales on the first week or whatever they had, it's useless. The sales numbers are useless. We don't know how much it sold. But again, that goes to my whole point. When people post those sales lists and say, look, this is successful and this is not, there's so many variables at play, it's useless. The number's useless. Bochi sold more because more companies reported to the group that was doing the survey. Not meaning that it sold more than Chainsaw Man, but even still to the point, I highly doubt Bochi the Rock costed much to license. They probably sold each episode of Bochi the Rock, I would guess, for at most 300,000 each. So 300,000 times 12 or whatever, that's how much Bochi made overseas. Chainsaw Man, without a doubt, Crunchyroll paid at least 600,000, maybe at least 500,000 per episode. Based on how much they advertised Chainsaw Man, especially after losing Bleach, they paid a lot for that. A whole lot for that. High School DxD wasn't censored. Like lower end? I don't think I've ever seen a lower end uncensored. I mean, it's technically in law over there. Or it's just not, it's kind of frowned upon. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily law. Switch it out for very popular. Copium Bochi is better. Sure, alright. Sure. What's up, Tiago? Welcome to the stream. So it's biased journalism. I wouldn't say it's bias. It's just, it's statistics. And statistics always are missing something. So they're not selling through distributors. Doesn't Mappa get a bigger cut? Right, and that's why they wanted to spice it up. That's exactly why Mappa wanted people coming to their store instead of elsewhere. They got a bigger cut. They had a huge control over the profits on that whole show. Mappa is being silent about Chainsaw Man Blu-ray sales numbers, and companies tend to brag about. There's two, yeah, and that Androids, I totally agree. there's probably a reason why Mappa doesn't want to say how much Chainsaw Man sold. It's pros and cons. There is a question mark that if they published how much they sold, they might have certain people knocking at their door saying, we need more of that cut. That wasn't part of the deal. You made too much money. And maybe Mappa doesn't want anybody to know that because they know they have to split with somebody. There's also an aspect that if they sold a lot, or if they didn't sell enough, it would look back to them. So yes, it would be perfectly natural that if they sold 100,000 copies of Chainsaw Man, they would want to shout it from the rooftop to tell everybody how successful it was. But it also might make certain people want a bigger cut. And they might not want, there's a possibility they might not want certain people to know based on the sequel. So if they come out and say, we sold 100,000 Blu-rays, Chainsaw Man Part 1 was hugely successful. What happens when Part 2 comes out, the next season? Suddenly, everybody wants to make sure that their contract says that they get more of that cut of the Blu-ray. And again, it's business. There's so many variables, it's not even funny. That's why, again, it's so difficult to talk about this kind of stuff, because there's so much to really dictate things. You know, nobody even expected Bocchi to be a mega hit. I did, because I started watching it, and I knew it was going to be amazing, and then I was shouting to everybody to watch the show, and then it took, like, 6 weeks into the season before everybody finally started talking about Bocchi. I'm joking. I did talk about it early, though. Didn't Chainsaw Man do poorly in Japan because of the director? Again, we don't know. It did. It was successful no matter how you cut it. They made a fortune. Whether it was big in Japan or not, we don't know, because we don't know the sales on Mappa's site. It didn't do poorly. We just don't have the sales numbers. Yeah, right. Bocchi is eternal. Adrian, your argument is sound. I have no arguments against your argument. Except that you're wrong. I'm joking. I missed the old Bocchi? Yes, Bocchi des. Bocchi des, I'm the girl that sits behind you. Please don't forget me. Hi, I'm Bocchi. God, what the heck was that name? Tori Bocchi, that's right. Tori Bocchi. Super good. I just want, like I said before, I just want them to... Did we already have the event for Bocchi? I think they just announced, what was it, an album or something like that? Oh, Boji. Boji 2, we have Boji right now, so he's not talking about Boji. I really want another slow loop. Same company. But I know if they were going to do another sequel of something, they're not going to do slow loop. They're going to do Bocchi. So I'm sure Bocchi did, well, obviously. I don't know. Again, it just depends on how much they made overseas with Bocchi, which I'm sure they did plenty well. Merchant think another event. Yeah. It's sad. I know that people get hype about stuff like that, but that's why I generally don't get hype over announcements, because it typically doesn't really lead to anything. It's always a disappointment. Except for the Mushoku Tensei. I mean, there was kind of an expectation that was possibly going to be an announcement for the season start, but everything else I don't keep a hype up. Even with the ReZero announcement, I was like, I won't believe it until I see ReZero season 3 pop up on the screen. Sure enough, it did. Just because a group didn't like the cinematic direction, it doesn't mean a failure of the sales. Yeah, and I think that's a big problem that a lot of people have, is they'll see, like, somebody, an YouTuber or a journalist or somebody just posts, oh my gosh, look at this trending. It says people will hate this because it's trending with 500 people talking about how they don't like how something was directed. That's not sales. That's not viewership. That's 500 people on a social media site that are whining about something. It doesn't equate to sales. We put way too much on trendings and stuff like that. It's never the bigger picture. We have another event next month. Is there an actual date? Or just that it's going to be next month? It's good to see that Bocchi's finally releasing in the West. That's a shocker. I was like, when they announced that they were going to release Bocchi the Rock's manga over here, I was like, wait, that's not already a thing? Why is this not being published yet? Like, that should have been hit on the moment the show started. Typically, Viz and Seven Seas and all these companies are really good about, like, seeing that something is going to get an adaptation and buying up the license immediately. Or at least when they see the announcement, buy it. And some things just, I guess, slip through the cracks, or maybe it's just difficult to get the license on them. Can't wait for Mushoku Season 3. And we still gotta watch the Season 2. To wait for Season 2. Which, that reminds me. Barnes & Noble has a pre-order deal right now. So if you guys are, like, big on buying the Mushoku Tenseis going forward, throw them all in your cart and hit checkout. And get the deal on it. It's like 25% off. I'm gonna do that tonight. Get my orders in for 25. I think up to 25. Here's Andrew buying putting the latest volumes for pre-order on Mushoku Tensei into his cart. Like, do this whole thing. All right, scroll. Okay, do this. Okay, the text is good. Add to cart. All right, good. Like, I'm so afraid of seeing the covers now. But I added them all to my cart. Sadly, 26 isn't up yet, so I can't. Like, I'm waiting for the day that I can pre-order everything, hit the cart, check out, and then never worry about Mushoku Tensei again in the future. I got everything up to the current releases. I just need 26 to be up for pre-order on Barnes & Noble, and then I'll be good. Got Roxy Get Serious. Was it 4 and 5? 4 and 5, right? Yes, 4 and 5 finally got prints, so I got those are on the way, and so I'm caught up on Roxy. I'm happy right now. Can't wait for ReZero Season 3. Me either. I'm pretty hyped for it. I'm super hyped for it. Oshinoko manga volumes have been surprisingly slow to get out in the States. Still waiting on volume 2 to come in. Really? I thought that was further. Oh yeah, I was glad to know. I'll get to get as much as I can. I can read along with Mushoku Monday. Nice. Yeah, well, next week should be the rest of volume 10. I'm not going to promise that. I'm probably going to record it tonight. I finished volume 10 of Mushoku Tensei. I'm not going to talk about what's in it, so don't worry for people that haven't read it. But there's a lot to talk about. So I don't know. My plan was to finish volume 10, but there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot for Andrew to really discuss. But I'll just say that I'm super happy that I finally got to see a certain character be present in the volumes that we haven't literally seen in the volumes for 4 freaking volumes. Hint. It sucks. Mushoku Tensei Season 2 is supposed to be like 2 core, right? There's rumors of it being 3. I doubt that. But yeah, 2 core is probably right, which will probably be a split core again. I doubt they're going to do a sequential 2 core play out. It'll probably be summer and then winter, if I guess. But hey, I was wrong that it was in summer instead of fall, so... So, yeah, the Eros manga not coming out over here is weird, because nobody's even announced that they got it yet, right? I was expecting Seven Seas to get it. Maybe they're just waiting. Not gonna read Mushoku Tensei. I prefer when an American bearded man reads it for me on Mondays. Who would that be? Bah! Who would that be? Bah! Finger guns. Hey guys, finger guns. That was literally my funniest bit ever. I am so stupid that I laugh at my own bits. When I was trying to... It's literally... Again, I'm trying to learn this new software. So it's literally every time one finger would go up, I would have to literally anchor that spot, shift the angle of the screen, and then when this finger goes over to here, I have to anchor it and tell it to go the other way. It was literally that back and forth for the entire bit. And I was laughing the whole time because I'm literally the most biggest idiot in the world, acting like a freaking demon going, "Wow, hey look, Rudius, finger guns, hey, be happy." So stupid. Oh, I'm so bad at laughing at my own jokes. What do you think of Rent a Girlfriend? Does it deserve all the bad reviews, comments, etc.? I don't personally like it. I just, mainly because I hate the main character. The main character's absolutely obnoxious and unbearable, but that's just me. Does it deserve... Most of the people that I see like it because they either like the waifus, which is understandable. I mean, it's fine. I mean, there was the initial draw was beautiful art and great seiyus. It's a S-tier seiyus across the board. Aoyuki and all that. Now Toyama. But the main character, for me, sounds like the writer being a little too obsessed with his character. And I can't stand it anymore, so. What is Mushoku about? Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about Mushoku Tensei. It's my favorite isekai of all time. It's massive character, very flawed main character that goes through significant character growth over a long span of time. It's controversial to a lot of people. The main character is unsettling in a lot of ways, but that makes this change significant. Experience the era of the 2010s when popular shows can make 20k, 50k Blu-ray sales in the first week. So 5k sales seems not special for a popular show, but I guess the standard has gone down. Well, that's because nobody has Blu-rays anymore. There's the industry of collecting is dying. The industry of physical goods is dying. It's all digital now. Everybody's moving away from having Blu-rays in their home and moving to just streaming everything, so obviously the Blu-ray sales go down. It's not that the industry's gonna die, because what replaces those 50k Blu-ray sales? Streaming, distribution, overseas. So it's actually, this is extremely a healthy shift for the industry as a whole, because they're making so much more money selling to Crunchyroll and stuff. Now the concern is that somebody like Crunchyroll becomes the majority and takes over the industry, and then what happens? They suddenly don't buy everything, and they pay less for each episode because they're not outbidding Disney, Netflix, High Dive. And suddenly the industry sells less overseas, and they have problems again. Next Mushoku Monday is going to be good. Have you read Mushoku Tensei manga? No. I read, like, the first couple chapters on stream, on Twitch. We laughed a lot about it. I poo-pooed it, and then I turned off the browser. Mainly because I was on a site that was questionable, and I was afraid something was going to pop up that shouldn't pop up even on a Twitch stream, but I wasn't liking it because it was way too comedic. I heard that it kind of chills out, but I'll read the manga probably after I finish the novel. I'm planning on doing the novel, Roxy, Get Serious, the side stories, maybe Edis chapter before then if it ever comes out, and then I'll do the manga. I might do the manga after that. The whole thing with Ellen Lace made me cry. Straight up ball crying. It's so hard. That's not insinuating anybody. It's just an emotional scene. We're not insinuating something happening. Your voice just made me cry more. What, the fact that I had the girly voice, or the fact that I couldn't get it out of my own voice? Like, I was choking up the whole time. It's very difficult to... I think the Paul scene was probably the worst for me when I was doing the actual videos. The Paul from the first season of Mushoku Tensei, for those that don't know, the reuniting scene. Even reading that, doing it on stream, on the premiere, was like, it hurt. Like, it was so hard to say the words. It got me so worked up. Darn chat is flipping around on me. Love your voice is for all the coaches Yui from you. Is the chat messing up for me again? I guess you're saying characters, adult characters. Aren't you gonna talk about Onimai? I already did. It was about the sales numbers. Welcome to the stream, Master Kuja. I was just mentioning to people that everybody's saying that Onimai wasn't successful because it only sold 5,000 Blu-rays or something like that. And I'm like, it literally means nothing. Like, Blu-ray sales are nothing. Yeah, I do agree the author's kind of sus, right? It's only upward from here. I hope so. I hope so. I'm not going to say anything of why it's not so far, but I hope so. Googled Mushoku, but it seems kind of problematic. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a very... the author puts it best. Mushoku Tensei is about a main character who's extremely flawed. He's extremely suspect. He's extremely disgusting. He's extremely perverted. But his perspective is, he's a character that goes through growth. He's specifically pointing out that it's a character who's terrible that goes through growth. The idea is to have a believable, nasty person, and he's a very believable, nasty person, that changes over time, that grows. And he put it best in the idea that he hopes that if anybody met somebody like the main character, Rudius, in the real world, and knew that person was trying to change their ways from being the nasty person they were, that you would support them. And I think it's not necessarily that you have to enjoy it and that you have to get over that because you have to support Rudius, but it's just to kind of hit on the idea that I create a character who's believably nasty, and he's gonna fall, but he changes. And it makes the changes that more significant. Not that he fixes everything. He's still bad, even as far as I gotten. But you're seeing that he's maturing. He's literally a teenager, bullied, becomes neat, and then locks himself up and essentially is cryogenically frozen to be a man-child all the way up into his 30s, gets isekai'd, and finally grows up. He just basically finally grows up. Where's Mushoku Tensei currently following your top 10? What is my top 10? What is my top 10? I don't think I've looked at my top 10 in forever. Let's look at anilist. It's definitely number 1 for isekais. Right above A Sentence of Bookworm, question mark? Let's see. Are you guys even seeing this? Probably not. I think currently in my top 5 is like a Showa from the New World. Hanasaki Roha is my number 1. Yeah, I would probably say Mushoku's going to be right there, up there next to those ones. So, Hanasaki, in no particular order, Hanasaki Roha, Shogun Roku, From the New World. Monogatari series, and then probably the Mushoku Tensei. That would probably be my that's just off the top of my head. You can see there's quite a few 10s here. The here and up are all 10s. And it's probably would be 10 shows that are going to be in my list. So I think that would probably be just off the top of my head, I guess. Let me bring this over here so I can actually see chat. Start the Fresh Prince theme song, replace Smith with Rudy. It would be like, in West Buena Village, born and raised on the playground where I spend most of my days. Chilling all maxing, relaxing all cool until shooting some people after school. Win a couple of guys who up no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood and with Sylphie. Got one little fight. My dad got mad. He said, "You're goofing with your head." I said, "Over." Okay, stopping that. Stopping that. Cringe factor destroyed. I could write that. I want to write that now. Man. And of course the light makes my face look super red after reading that. I do remember hearing about the anime after all. Just forgot what it was called. Okay. Are there any good isekais you would recommend even if they are manga? Right now my favorites are Mushoku Tensei, Ascendance of a Bookworm, Grimgar Fantasy and Ash, Konosuba. I know I'm missing something. Tsukimichi, ReZero, Overlord. And then there's some odds and ends like 80,000. Magical Revolution's super good too. It's more Yuri. Love your channel. Do you know about Old Dragon's Tale? It sounds familiar, but welcome to the stream, Adam. Thank you for... I appreciate your kind words. You will do yourself a favor if you watch Mushoku Tensei. Right. I am late, so did Onimai end up with good metrics? It's just... We were talking about the fact that it got 5,000 sales and Blu-rays, and people were saying that it wasn't successful because of that, even though it was #1 on most charts rankings. And I was mainly explaining that the metrics for sales figures that are basically somebody calling a bunch of companies isn't a sign of success or not. That hug is the best. Really like Paul, gotta be one of my favorites. Thanks, I'll give it a go, maybe. Andrew, you just need to audition for Batty Daddy. Because I just can't picture anyone else voicing him. Blah. Celebrate. I'd imagine they'd look at manga boost sales and actual viewing numbers. Right, that's another aspect that I completely didn't even talk about is... I don't think Chainsaw Man's seen a huge boost in manga, and I think that was a better metric for people to kind of criticize. But yeah, that's definitely huge. I don't even know if Onimai had a really huge boost in manga sales. But even again, even if the manga sales don't go up, the overseas distribution is huge for them, so... Wish you had more anime like Farming Life in Another World. No! Not for me, no. Not for me, no. I'm gonna get DMCA for that. Was it that good that it's gonna automatically pick up my DMCA? I like to see farming anime that is medieval and not isekai. Shoot. Is there a non-isekai? Well, I mean, technically that stupid OP farming show was one, but it was a comedy. I forget what that was called. Killing slime for 300 years is good, yes. Yeah, reincarnated slime is really good. Then I say to make my abilities average. See, I didn't like that one, but I liked it. Was it the other one that they did? It's 80,000 gold? No, it wasn't. What was the other one they did? Was it 80,000 gold? There was one last season that was the same creator, and I really liked it. But I didn't like average abilities. The author of ReZero and Mushoku Tensei did a collab chapters where Subaru visits Six-Sided World during the Turning Point 2. That'd be cool. The time I got reincarnated as slime, yeah. Toku Revengers went way up as example of the manga. Which didn't turn out well for them because a lot of people didn't like the ending, apparently. We don't anything about Onimai sales because it's a secret. It's a secret. I don't have that on here. That would be a funny little... Can I do that? No. Woof, 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 woof. This is really... This is a bit much for a joke. Somebody was saying that I need to get a blah ha 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 GIF, but I don't know. I have not made a GIF or animated GIF in forever, so I wouldn't even know where to begin. That would be fun, though. Where is my files? My files? Mm. Oh my gosh, my my folder with all the images that I have accumulated in doing Mushoku Mondays over the years is so stupid. There's no logic to any of it. Oh, I know where it's at. There it is. I found it. Yeah, this is turning into a really bad joke. This is turning into a really bad joke. I thought it would be quick. And now I don't want to do the joke because it's dead at this point. It's just so dead at this point. There. Now I'm just gonna leave that on the stream for the rest of the time. Vinland Saga did technically have a farming arc. That is very true. A very strenuous and a much more realistic farming arc than, say, another show. Girl, you're like straight up in my face. I didn't realize it's like straight up in my face. Go over here or something. There you go. Holy crap. Being attacked by text. Manga for Farming Life Another World was better than 200 plus chapters. Yeah, the Farming Life Another World just seemed like we're just cutting way too much context of that. Yeah, I do want to read all the side novels. I will definitely get around to those ones. Will Vinland Saga Season 2 get a dub? Yeah, no doubt. It's way more popular over here than elsewhere. Just kind of odd that Vikings and Britons are speaking Japanese. That's like everything, unfortunately. I mean, even like, what was it called? Not Super Crooks. The one with the guys that come over from Japan and they do a lot of like tricks and stuff over here in America. At some point, there's like, we're going to stop doing the English dub, and we're just going to do Japanese from now on. You get the point. But no, I can see it breaking immersion. I mean, that's just like, I felt like I enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima in Japanese a lot more than the English dub. The only way it would actually be legit if they spoke in the Middle English, an Old Slavic, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of context missing from the translation to the anime. I mean, there's specifically one episode when suddenly out of nowhere somebody says, "Oh, yeah, this character's got a belly," and I'm like, "Wait, what?" There's a bit of context missing there. Isekai's Sister is great animation compared to the Isekai's airing this season. The animation is really good in that one. Yeah, it's great Pretender. You're right, Conart. I don't know if I said hi to you, but hi, Conart. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima's Japanese dub was great too, yeah. Alright, Adrian, take care, man. Cyberpunk has people speaking any language in the games. We had a bit of Edge Runners where the English dub still had some Japanese. Yeah, for the Japanese ninja group, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. The movie's gonna be Japanese dub as well. I didn't even know they were doing a movie. There's a movie for Ghost of Tsushima. I apparently missed that whole announcement, which is cool. I think it would be a really good movie. YouTube, like literally like this big sign comes up that says the stream current bitrate is higher than recommended. I was okay. But no, I would really like them to make a sequel to Cyberpunk, or maybe no. I was thinking when I was doing my review for it, I think my suggestion would be a prequel. I would love like the original banding together of that party. I mean, they sort of got into it with the show, but a prequel would be super good. Yeah, the prequel about the mom would be cool too. That would be another good route they could do. It just has to involve Rebecca. Whatever they do, it has to involve Rebecca. Sony has 10 projects right now, including some of the animation, hoping Gravity Rush is the anime. Oh my gosh. There's somebody else that knows what Gravity Rush is? I have, like, literally everything Gravity Rush. I was a super big fan of Gravity Rush when it came out. Granted, I was, like, one of the early adopters of the Vita. And so anything they gave me, I ate up. But, dude, I loved Gravity Rush. I played the hell out of that game. I played the sequel. I played the remake. I love it. Yeah, Cat's amazing. The style of that show, or that game, was so good. And I was actually really good with the whole gyroscoping thing. I know a lot of people hated that, but I loved it. But that would be a really cool anime. It'd probably be all CGI, unfortunately. That's the only problem. I can totally see that being like fully CGI. But it's good. I love it. Yeah, the guy worked really well. It was not too bad on the PlayStation, but I liked it more on the I liked it a lot more on the Vita. What was it? Gravity Days? That was a Japanese one, right? Gravity Days? That was much cooler. Gravity Days is cooler than Rush. Yeah, the music was good too. Andrew, don't you think it's kind of sad that current animators need CGI to animate characters with armor? Mecha aside, it's sad that they're slowly losing hand-drawn animators. It was the next logical step after Mecha because, see, Mecha not being animated by hand anymore makes sense because it takes very skilled people, which unfortunately we're losing in the anime industry because they're not paying them very well. So that kind of specialty is fading away. Plus, there's not as much of a call for mecha. That means that there's not as many animators that have dealt with drawing mecha because mecha requires its own skill set. So with the fall of mecha and sci-fi, it makes sense mecha designers are going downhill, and most of them are pretty much just in Sunrise. Sunrise and their companies is pretty much where all the mecha designers are at, or the good ones anyways. Armor doesn't make any sense because it's just an extension of the self, but I can also see that being just equally difficult. I don't think we're really at a huge bad point of it, but like cheat skill makes sense. The company does CGI. They're like half CGI studio. So it makes sense they're going to do CGI for the armor. But yeah, when you add in people like Skeleton Knight and Otherworld being CGI, it does kind of make you wonder why we have to do this. Why can't we animate armor now? I don't know. I think that's kind of in the same realm as CGI. It's going to be a give and take here and there kind of thing. But again, to the previous discussion, CGI is technically not cheaper unless they go a cheap studio. And in those cases, it looks bad. But if you have a decent job done on the CGI, it doesn't look bad. Skeleton Knight in Otherworld looked good. It actually looked like it fit. The other characters in CGI, that looked bad, but at least he looked good. There's a 20-minute OVA, Gravity Rush. I don't know if the same thing you were talking about. Also, the manga is called Gravity Days. I want to say that I watched the OVA, but I don't remember. I don't remember. I knew at a time I was consuming everything Gravity Rush. Like, if something barked Gravity Rush, I bought it. Like, I even bought other games that had Gravity Cat, and all the other characters in it. What was the other game that had... There's another game that had Cat in it. Can't remember. There was a game that had a DLC for Cat, and I totally bought it. We watched Voltron Legendary Defenders. That was a good show. I don't think so. I have watched Voltron, but I don't know which ones. Done well. CGI looks great. Look at Trigun Stampede. Yeah. Yeah. I did like CGI in Trigun. I'm usually more into the style of, like, Nighthead. Stuff like that. I more prefer going for, like, a more cel-shaded, cartoonish look like Babunki Baronki. Even though that show wasn't great in the second half, at least it was probably one of my favorite of style of CGI. Where it goes for CGI rendered characters, but a cel-shaded look that almost makes it look in an anime style. Typically, whenever the CGI happens, it almost like it pulls it away from an anime aesthetic, in a sense. Modern remake of the old Voltron. Okay, so I probably didn't watch it. Kind of hope that more CGI like Lupin the Third, the first, instead of CGI pretending to be 2D. I haven't watched that one yet. If I remember correctly, I've seen the PVs for it, and it was okay. A very cartoonish look to it, though, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Wasn't 86 also partially CGI? Yes, all the mecha was in that one. All the spider mechas are CGI. Which, that one, again, blended well. Like, even though it was very heavily detailed, which typically heavily detailed CGI does not look good, I think it looked really good. And I think that was partly because they did a good job of kind of separating the... It's always whenever you have 2D characters in the presence of CGI. That's what breaks it typically. And technically with 86, they were typically in the cockpit and they weren't physically next to them all the time. And then whenever they did have shots where they were outside of the mechas, they hand drew a lot of it. So, but yeah, it looked really good. 86 looked really good. It was jarring that Shield Hero had a CGI turtle. And there's a good example of not paying well for your CGI. But yeah, I'm a huge fan when they can at least blend it. Or just keep it separate. It's always whenever it's together. That's when it all kind of falls apart. It seemed like PA Works is getting better with it, too. Like with Buddy Daddies. At least the car chase and the motorcycle race or chase wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't terrible. I typically do not like PA Works' CGI. But at least it looks like they're doing better with it. Nier. That's a good example of not having a budget for CGI. Nier was, ugh. And I've seen footage of the game. The game looks better than that CGI. It's like, why can't you just rip it from the game? Yeah, what is the deal with people saying that Kamikatsu was intentional? Does anybody have any references to what the hell that people are talking about? Was there a director or somebody that said that the CGI was on purpose in Kamikatsu? Yeah, where is this coming from? Somebody please explain to me where the Kamikatsu is intentional is coming from. Is it people just copium acting like it was intentional? They did rip it directly from Automata. Yeah, I think somebody said something about that, but I don't know. I just don't think it didn't feel like it looked that bad when I seen the game. But again, I think it's partly because you're putting them next to each other. CGI is fine on its own. Animation is fine on its own, but when they're next to each other, you see a problem. You suddenly see the flaws in the visual side of it. But no, Nier Automata, my bigger problem was that depth of field. Like, that was a bad depth of field. I don't know. I'm literally going to have to, like, chase down a rabbit hole to find out what everybody's talking about with Kamikatsu. I'll have to make a video on it. Like, was this intentional, and show the buffalo there? And just go, like, all right, where is this coming from? It's intentional because otherworldly things are CGI. But who said that? Did a director say that? Because if that's the point, then what is otherworldly? Why isn't he otherworldly? Why isn't Mitama otherworldly? And what justifies them? Are they calling it otherworldly in the next episode? I haven't seen the current episode, or if they're calling those otherworldlies or not. Graphitica is doing a really good job of mech CGI. Pleasantly surprised Muv-Luv. They also did great. Dude, Muv-Luv looks super good. Muv-Luv looks... Despite the animation having problem outside of the mechas looked good. And not only that, the mecha fights were super good. The aliens still look super creepy and look off, but the mechas look real good in Muv-Luv Alternative. Talk to you guys later a little bit. Just watch something else. All right, Brian, take care. When people are saying they think it's intentional with the bad CGI for Mitama show is from YouTubers Chibi and for Neverworld. Oh, okay, then. Source, I said so is in a lot of cases. I have to find a source, like an actual source, not. I hear a lot of stuff from certain people, and it's never true. It's usually just for clicks. Just trust me, bro. Source. Just trust me, bro. I like Chibi. I've never seen for Neverworld. I think I probably have before. But unfortunately, Chibi, I've run into too many of his videos where he doesn't do enough research. Like the whole... He made a whole video talking about how Bleach was selling NFTs, and they never sold NFTs. They were selling a token for a physical artwork. It wasn't a $10,000 NFT. And all it took was one click to find out the truth of that. It wasn't like it was hidden. Civic Gear has a few scenes where they have CGI vehicles and 2D characters, and it doesn't look bad. Yeah, it's doable. It is definitely doable. I mean, technically, Girls on Panzer does it a lot, and they started out... Girls on Panzer early on was not good. It meshed. It didn't mesh well. But over time, they got really good at that. Just having these 2D characters popping their head out of a tank. I assume they're ugly because they called strange creatures. Yeah, I'm not quite sold on it yet. The studio isn't that great. So it's not strange to me that they just aren't good at buying good CGI. If you watch the first 10 seconds of Kamikatsu, you'll bust a gut. When he's being thrown in the water? Or is there something else before him getting thrown in the water? This doesn't make sense, but there are more things CGI in the last episode, which hints at the direction that only things related to gods are CGI. I'm not buying this. You guys are crazy. I'm not buying this. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying this theory. I feel like it's just people just coping. I hate saying this, but this feels like copium. This feels like people just trying to justify bad anime. Or not bad anime, but bad animation. It's just... I don't buy it. This feels like anime's version of fake news just to make people believe that they have some insider info. Until I see a director say this was intentional, I'm not buying it. Somebody's got to give me a link to a director, an art director or something. Intentionally making bad animation doesn't make sense to me. The problem is that, okay, let's say the whole concept is that he's actually isekai'd into a video game. And the monsters are video game monsters. It still doesn't explain why the humans are hand-drawn and not CGI. It doesn't explain anything. The idea of saying that these otherworldly beings are what we perceive viewing the art as something of a different art style and visual medium doesn't make sense to the context of the story itself. Unless in the light novel it specifically says the monster looked oddly round-shaped and otherworldly, and even then there's a different way of portraying it. Nothing story-wise makes sense that they're CGI. Especially since it's based on wasn't it based off a light novel? It doesn't make sense logically that is anything but laziness. Anyways, dead horse. Dead horse. Anyways, I'm not following it. I'm sorry. Unless a director says it, and even if a director says it, I'm gonna say he's just saying that because he doesn't want people to think it looks terrible. Legit thought it was on purpose. It looked that bad that you want to explain it that way, and I want to go with people on it. At least they're consistently bad. At least they're consistent. It's bad, but at least they're consistent. Yeah, the director's literally like going, all right, yeah, intentional. That's like a kind of reminds me of like when a director gets like so into their like interpretation that they just spew out stuff and then go, well, it's literally the person walks into the museum and they go to this one area and they look down and there's literally a toilet seat in the middle of the room. And then somebody's like, wait, why is there a toilet seat here? And then the art guy comes up and goes, is that a toilet seat? And you're like, yeah, that's literally a toilet seat. Why is there a toilet seat here? So that's your interpretation, is that it's a toilet seat. Very interesting. What do you see in this toilet seat? How do you see this toilet seat? It's a freaking porcelain throne, dude. See, hey, come over here. What do you think this is? It's beautiful. Yeah? He thinks it's a toilet seat. No, it's art. What are you talking about? It's literally the Emperor's new clothes. Nobody say that he's butt naked. Otherwise he'll get beheaded. Anyways, again, horse got out the door. He's dead. Girls in Pageant are my favorite cute girls doing War Machine subgenre of that Arpeggio Blue Still. Yeah, I think that would be up there. I'm not sure if I had anything else that I would probably put in around that same realm. Just someone that doesn't know what monsters should look like, so they winged it. I just figured they pull assets from something else and it just didn't mesh well. It's literally what it comes down to, is just pull assets from somewhere else and don't, migrate it properly. Oh, watch the first 10 seconds of the next Kamikatsu. Okay. Completely agree with you. Even if it's intentional, it could have been made a different, better. And like I said, I think that my biggest point there is really the idea that even if you can make an argument for that, it doesn't make sense theoretically with storytelling. It doesn't make sense because it's not. Again, it is a light novel, right? Am I dumb? It's a light novel, isn't it? There shouldn't be any reason why there would be a context to that. Kamikatsu. No, it's a manga. Okay. Hold on. Let's figure this out. We're gonna figure it out, people. We're gonna figure this out. I swear to you all, we're gonna figure this out. It's probably like right here. Nope, this is too far. We have gone too far. 1.4. Unless the manga visually shows me something that looks bizarre to the art style, I am not going to believe anybody at all on that one. If it's even in the manga. Okay, he just arrived. They're drinking and being merry. Talking about his arrival. Talking about the Empire. They go to the Empire. They're looking at smutty mags. There's the execution scene. There's her trying to jump him with ropes. Gives the pendant. Is there even an attack by a monster in the manga? There's the execution. Him getting his butt kicked. Summons Mitama. Oh, he hasn't summoned Mitama yet. I'm now wondering. Whoa, that cannot be on YouTube. I am now wondering if there is even a monster in the manga. And if it's not, if the monsters are literally not in the manga, I'm gonna curse this show even more. There's got to be monsters in the manga, because it's literally a story beat. They're trying to keep them at bay. Loki's keeping them at bay. Please, manga, give me a freaking monster already. Does somebody know what chapter the monster's in? Zoom in on my glasses. No, the lewdness is here. Oh my gosh, where is... Dude, we have to skip all the way to the point where the knight has been brought back and him killing the stuff outside the village? There's a boob chopping off part. There's the idol part. There's literally no monsters in this manga. Okay, he just brought back the knight. Holy crap. This is dedication right here, people. I think we have officially established... Oh, here we go. We got it. Found it. No. This is literally the style of the manga. Here. No, wrong screen. Dang it. Alright. Blip. And then... Blip. Yeah, there's nothing about this that's visually different than the regular... I mean, the hair is the same. It's the same style, same shading. It's literally... I am not following... I am not following this mindset. This is intentional badness. It matches the style of the manga itself. Nothing about it looks foreign. And if this doesn't show anything different, I can't buy it. If this was maybe a lot more different textured or possibly has some sort of artistic addition to it that made it sound out more, I would believe it. But no, I'm not buying it. Again, dead horse, not buying it. Dead horse dead. Dead horse dead. Yeah, the theory might be that it's something in story-wise that maybe later on it turns out he's in a game or something. But again, if the original manga doesn't portray that, why would you believe that the anime should? They're both manga and anime are visual mediums. The manga doesn't have a different art style to portray that there's a difference there, like it's a game or something. So, yeah. It's conspiracy stuff. It's clicks. I know. It's just clicks. I'll make a video tomorrow saying about how it's intentional, and I'll get some clicks, but I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah, they had some pretty good shading in there. I'm not going to argue. The manga actually looks pretty good. I mean, it's not the best, but I mean, I wasn't really... When I went over here to look at this, I wasn't really expecting this to be that visually pleasing. I mean, there's some simplicity in here for some of the panels, but some of the bigger shots actually look really good. This looks really good. This looks super good. Talk about, like, showing, like, threatening aspect, even though there's a side difference there. I might... If this show keeps up good, I might actually check out the manga after this. The mangaka wrote the script and composition for the anime. That's good. I always like their involvement. The monsters have Princess Mononoke vibes. Yeah, it makes me curious about the other ones in there. Wish I could get another season of continuation of Radiant. I was surprised that Radiant got an anime adaptation, considering it not being a Japanese property. Yeah, Mitama is always cute. Mitama must be always protected. Mitama is great. We must all follow Mitama. Follow Mitama. The Knight's great too. It's actually a very good art style for the manga. I'm actually very, very impressed. Don't scroll anymore, Andrew. Don't scroll anymore. Andrew, don't scroll anymore. We're gonna go YouTube unfriendly in a little bit. Anyways, what else was I talking about? You guys I kept getting sidetracked back into this stupid freaking... I think I talked about everything, though. Oh, funny thing. Let me check to see if this is still here. I was gonna check the first 10 minutes. Or for 10 seconds. Episode 4? Our religion has no high culture. I still get a kick out of the fact that he's not, you just said 10 seconds in the episode. Now you're saying specifically two and a half minutes. I love the fact that he's still not a follower of her. Oh my gosh. See, I don't mind that. I literally don't mind that. That looks intentional. The tractor, yes, that looks intentional. That I'm fine with. That looks literally intentional as comedic. That looks like, let's just do this and be done with it, because we're not going to animate this. That I find comedic and fine. I can't follow you guys on the intentionalness of the other ones. I'm sorry. Now, if you're saying now that he is literally an otherworldly being because of that scene, I can't follow you no more. That's dumb, though. That's literally dumb. The fact that he literally created tractors in a month is dumb in itself, but whatever. FBI open up. Hold on, let me get it off the screen. No, you didn't see nothing, Captain. You didn't see nothing, Captain. But no. Okay, sidetracked again. I was gonna look up my email. I'm gonna double check this before I say anything. Did they reply to me? Okay, they did. Okay. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but I got an email today. Like I look at my email and suddenly I have like this big chain of emails from a company. I won't say what company it is. But it's a publishing company, and they were sending me emails like over and over again. I'm like, what is this? I click on it, and I went all the way back to the first email, and it's like this conversation about booking flights and stuff for AX, and I'm like, I think you got the wrong Andrew, because I have no clue what you guys are talking about. They're talking about me like getting a screen share to check flights and stuff like that, and hotel bookings, and I'm like, I have no idea who. I don't think I'm the Andrew you're looking for. No, it wasn't. It's emails. I know the people. Like I've been in contact with them before. They're PR people. But I'm guessing there's somebody named Andrew in their group. And so they typed in Andrew and they just hit enter. And then they were like, okay, Andrew and this other person, make sure to contact Billy about scheduling your flights and stuff. And I'm like, AX is right around the corner. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, cool. I should have gone along with it. Like, all right, cool. Thanks, Billy. Hey, man, get in a conference call with me. Let's get this set up, all right? And just get like a free flight. He said, it's bad because they were talking about sending a credit card number. Like they were going to send a business card credit card number. I'm like, If I was a different person, I would totally have ripped that company off big time. That's a bad oops. It's a bad oops. But again, I won't say who it was. The email isn't secure. No, you just gotta look at who you're sending your emails to. This is why I don't like, what's the term? Oh my gosh, I've been out of IT for so long, I don't even remember the term. There's a term, flavor, is it not, it's not flavor text. It's whenever your email replaces email addresses with actual names. Like, it looks into your address book and replaces it. I never had that on. I hate that crap so much. Because you'll get, like, emails from, like, a Google or whatever, and you click on it, and it's literally from, like, Billy Bob at Google dot, I don't know, UK or something like that. It's, like, super bad for scams. What's up, Gail? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I am not, I'm not the droid you're looking for. After Stain Studio buying success from Onimai, I'd love for them to remake Idol Densetsu Eriko, best anime from the late 80s. We're still waiting for the next Bind B group thing. Not that B group's bad. Their B group's amazing. They have a second team. I'm really curious what that next project will be, because I hope it's once again another Uncomfortable Truth show, because I want to make a whole... I've been waiting to make a whole video on the idea that Bind is the Uncomfortable Truths studio. JK Haru would be great. I think several people have been saying JK Haru would be a situation of girl gets isekai into another world and has no choice but to do this one thing because she's not powerful. Totally Star Wars vibes. That's not the android you're looking for. I am not the android you're meaning to send this to. This is a really bad oops. I'm glad I'm not an evil person. I should have totally went in with it, because they literally only put me on the PR. For this particular company, they only have me on the PR line. So they'll send me their AX announcements and stuff beforehand, so that I can make a video beforehand and then post it immediately whenever they do announce it. An embargo type of setup. But they never send me anything, so it's like, pfft, I should take advantage of this. Remake Akira by Studio Trigger when? Akira is being remade by Sunrise. When? I don't know. What does Master Fitz think? I have no clue. But yeah, Sunrise is supposed to do Akira. Apparently it's supposed to be a full remake. JK Haru, I love that light novel. I read the manga. It was good. It was not incredible, but I thought it was pretty solid. I'd be really interested in seeing an anime of it, but I don't know that I want to. I do still want to read the light novel. I'm planning on buying the light novel here soon. Because I'm hoping the light novel's a lot better than the manga, because the light novel felt a little bit light. I'm really underground or stupid because I don't know half of these manga anime. Well, JK Haru is a very niche one. It's basically JK Haru is basically body selling in another world, essentially. I'm making it YouTube friendly, okay? You just aren't tuned in happy, I guess. Onimai is, yeah, super happy. That's super tuned to happy if you're missing Onimai. Wait, really? There's actually make? Yeah, it's still technically announced a long time ago. I don't know. Again, I don't know when they're supposed to do it. I think it's still in the to be announced. Literally, they only have a logo on here, I think. There it is. Shin Anime. Akira Shin Anime. It was Sunrise, right? Yeah, it's Sunrise. A light novel that felt light? No, I'm saying the manga felt light, so I figured the light novel would be a lot more details. I must have said that wrong. A light novel felt light. Who would have known? Hey, Patches, what's going on, man? I was thinking the same thing. Have you seen the new Bleach? And do you know Flix will have a live action, have a live version of Bleach movies? No, Flix have a live. Netflix has live action. Yes, I've watched the Netflix live action Bleach. If that's what you're saying. It was okay. But yes, I have been enjoying the new season of it, despite the fact that I want to create content on it, but unfortunately, all the Bleach fans can't keep their mouths shut in the comments section, so I stopped doing it. I dislike a lot of Bleach fans because they just don't know when to shut up. It's like they just spoil everything. Like, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I wonder if this character's gonna die, and what if this character's gonna do this? And they're like, no, actually, this. It's like, okay. Thank you. Turn off comments. Such a bad... They're super bad. I don't think I've ran into a worse community of spoilers. But because again, they've freaking read the ending 20 years ago. They don't care anymore. I'm like the only person in the entire Bleach community that stopped watching and then is watching the rest now. What has Sunrise done? They do, like, all Mobile Suit Gundam. Love Live is their big properties. They do a lot of stuff. They've been around since, what, 1970? They do a lot of stuff. I guess I could just show you. Sunrise. What other than Love Live have they done recently? I said Gundam and Love Live, and I'm scrolling, and all it is Love Live and Gundam. I know there's something else they've done. There's something else. Oh, Code Geass was the other big one they've done. They're just like they're like the only studio with mecha designers. So they're the big mecha company. They sell Gunpla like crazy, so they love making mecha shows. But yeah, they're huge. Oh, they did Scarlet Nexus. We don't talk about Scarlet Nexus. We don't talk about Scarlet Nexus. Just ignore that was on there. That was one of their random B teams. They just had like some guys in the back just put it together. I didn't get anything huge spoiled for me, so don't get me wrong. It was just like every speculation I had, people were just answering it, and yeah. My thoughts of characters being dead was like, no, there's not character's not dead. And I'm like, oh, but I think this character's gonna come back. Maybe they're under mind control. No, that character's dead. I'm like, oh, thank you. I would have loved to have learned that next week, but it's good that I know now rather than having to wait a whole week for the next episode. They did a game wrong. Yeah, I watched like an episode of Scarlet Nexus, and I was like, this doesn't look good. This doesn't seem like it's good. It just doesn't look like I feel like I'd probably just play the game later. It's like a video game adaptation if it wasn't done by Footable. It's a good game, trash anime. Yeah, the game, I heard nothing but praise about the game. I was like this close to buying like 5 times, but never did. I would still like to go back and play it. It looks like it's a lot of fun. Dude, I am right there with you, Tom. I have like a whole bunch of games like Xenoblade. I got the 3rd Xenoblade and I still haven't even turned it on. I don't even think I think it's still sealed. What's that? It's still sealed. I have way too many games I need to play. Like, once I started getting into anime as much as I did, covering it and stuff like that, it's like my time to do anything video game related is out the door. The only time I really get to do is mobile games. Which is why I was so mad that Princess Connect got killed, because that was like my go-to. That was my go-to game whenever I had some free time, was just to pop on a phone game and play it. So once Princess Connect died, which is what, 4 days? 4 days and officially Princess Connect is dead. No word on anybody saving it. So I switched to Arknights and Blue Archive, and I want to like Arknights. The music's so freaking good, but Arknights doesn't like me. Arknights does not like me. Music in the game is amazing. Nice. I do thinking of Bleach Spirit Presser to be the same as Mushoku Tensei Toki. It's hard for someone that can read. I got you guys, and it's hard for someone that can read, but you got you guys. Xenoblade 3's 10 to 10 last JRPG that was out for Nier Automata. Liked it that much, eh? I've been watching a lot of Ida, who is from our community, our community manager for Discord, him playing, and I really enjoy it. Yippee Girl is like my fave, just because she says yippee. And every time I watch a stream, I just wanted him to get the character to say yippee. I kept seeing Princess Connect advertisement on Crunchyroll, not sure what it was. Probably to get you to play the game before they shut it down, unfortunately. The games are by the same studio as God Eater and Code Vein. Koei Tecmo, right? Oh, it's Bamco. Have you heard of Blue Protocol? Yes. And if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's the one I'm thinking of, right? It's the one I'm thinking of, right? I think, and that's the MMO one, right? Yeah, that's the MMO one. It looks good, but too much investment for the time that I have, and additionally, I don't like... The gameplay loop looks too simple. The group play looks way too simple, so I don't think I'll ever play it. Early on, I was kind of intrigued by it, but lately, every time I see the gameplay of it, it does not appeal to me overall. To watch Eden Zero? No, I'm still finishing Fairy Tail, and as much as everybody says it's not Fairy Tail, it's still Fairy Tail to me, so I have to finish Fairy Tail first. I'm stuck on the idea that I must finish Fairy Tail before touching Eden Zero. I don't play FPS games, no rogue titles, no survival games. I used to play FPS games all the time. I was big into Medal of Honor, then Call of Duty 1, Alien vs. Predator. I was super competitive, and then I just got burnt out at some point. Blue Protocol looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks solid. I've heard that Amazon is taking it over for the West, right? Which I don't know that they'll break it, but that doesn't give me too much positivity around it. I really don't like other companies taking care of publishing of stuff anymore, so I'm kind of mad they're letting somebody else handle that. They could have easily allowed Amazon to... I mean, everybody is... There's a lot of people that, even if they don't know it, they're using Amazon servers. They could have easily utilized Amazon servers while still publishing it, so it does kind of bug me that Amazon will be handling that. If what I heard was correct. Nowadays plays hack slash games. I really want to play the new DMC games. I've been wanting to play DMC games for a while now. About the only games I've been playing all the way through lately is Resident Evil games. I still want to play 4 Remake really bad, because that's got like that's a very personal game for me. Heavily connected with my father. I played Minecraft for a little bit, and then because we have one in the Discord, and I got burnt out. I can't not get way too invested in Minecraft, and I have to stop. Like, it's just one of those games you just keep going and realize you've wasted way too much time trying to do something. It's one of those games where you set yourself to do a project and you just sit there and do it, and then you realize you've made a way too big of a project, and you should have kept it simple, and you didn't, and now you've wasted your entire day. It was working out well for me because I was essentially doing it while editing videos, but I've streamlined a lot of my videos to the point where I don't really have time to look away from it, so I can't even play a game on the side anymore. Like, that's why I haven't logged into Genshin Impact in like like seriously, like logged in on a regular basis every day with Genshin Impact in like 2 months. It's like I don't unfortunately don't have the time anymore. I'm too busy reading Mushoku and making videos on anime. But anyways, that said, speaking of Mushoku Tensei, I am going to wrap it up early today with a live stream so that I can rest for a little bit before I do my Mushoku Tensei Mushoku Monday recording tonight, because I want to get that done and get that started so I'm not like super late like I was last week. Last week I literally was uploading it Saturday night and I had to check it on Sunday. And if anything messed up with the export, I was screwed. I don't want to miss a Mushoku Mondays. I want to make every single week. So, yeah, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm appreciative of everybody dropping by and enjoying the wonderful future of anime. I'm glad I could propose the future of anime to everybody, which is belly buttons that cannot stay still. Look at the belly button. Everybody watch the belly button. Look at the belly button. Look at the belly button. She can't... The belly button is moving. Watch the belly button. Can't unsee belly button. And the other left hand. She's super cute though. Like, god dang, the design is good. The design is super good. Her shirt keeps changing, and they're get it back in the belly. The belly is so weird. Like, I could take every weirdness of it, but the belly button creeps the hell out of me. Yeah, the style is good though. I love her freaking design. Super good. You see the belly? You cannot unsee the belly button. This shirt and everything's actually really good. You see it glitch, but the shirt looks really good. Anyways, I'm glad you all can join me for the future of waifus in anime and how it's all changing. But yeah, I appreciate y'all dropping by. Later, do halt. But as per usual, thanks everybody for the support, everybody that subscribed, members of the channel and everything. I really appreciate you guys' support, and I will see you guys in the chat on Monday for Mushoku Monday, or in the comment sections or on the Discord. Link to the Discord is in the description. If you guys want to join, you can hit me up there. I'm always up to hear some from. I'm not always quick to reply, but if you guys want to talk, always hit me up down there. But thank you guys for dropping by, and you'll have a good one.